Here we are once again at the music school in praise and worship leaders. I want to especially appreciate those of you that are subscribed to this channel. Thank you so much. For those of you that are writing down your comments, liking this video and sharing it, thank you so much. Today we'll be talking about something very simple but very vital and important. From my experience of over 40 years of working with musicians and singers, I've come to discover that there are some of these terms, there are some of these things which singers somehow just don't get it. They just don't understand how to communicate some of these terms. We're going to be sharing the common terms which every praise and worship leader should know. The very first thing they should know is about key or sound, something like this. Now, the key comprises of so many notes, which I've discussed about in my previous video, which is about your major scale, what I've played is in a particular key. If I change the key, if you notice, the difference between the two is the first one was higher and the second one lower. You must be able to differentiate and say the key is high, the key is slow. Now, and something about the key which I would like you to know is, can you take the key a step higher or a step lower? That's a common term. A musical term is, can you make it a semitone higher or a semitone lower? So if I'm on this particular key on the keyboard or on any other instrument, and you sing and you discover that that key is not quite all right for your voice, you can say, can you take the key higher by a semitone? If that is not too okay, you can say, can you take the key higher from the previous key? You can say, can you take the key higher by a tone, which is 2 steps. So 1 step is a semitone, 2 steps is a tone. I'm going to demonstrate that now. A step higher, which is a semitone. I go back to the previous key. If you say you want it higher by a tone, now you need to know this, because by the time you start singing songs and you want modulations within the song, when you're singing praise and worship, you need to get familiar with how a semitone sound and a tone sound. So I'm going to play just the key or the tonic of that key now for demonstration. A tone, a semitone higher. I'll do that again. A tone is this. This is the original key. A tone higher. Now, we're going to do the opposite now. That is, if the key is high and you want the keyboardist to lower the key, you can tell the keyboardist to lower it by a semitone. Then a semitone lower. Sorry. Then a tone lower. So you need to be able to communicate with your musicians or with anybody you're working with that you want the key higher by a semitone or a tone. Sometimes this is not really as effective as in the tone higher or a tone lower, or semitone higher or semitone lower, may not be the exact thing you want. You may tell them to go maybe a fourth from that previous key. Sometimes a key that is convenient for an alto singer, for a soprano singer to sing it very well, is more than a semitone or a tone. I'm going to repeat that. For a soprano singer and alto singer, the key difference between them is more than a semitone or a tone. You will need to go by a fourth lower or higher, as the case may be, for the song to retain the same tension when you're singing it. A song that is okay for alto singer in this key, you are the pillar that holds my life. You are the pillar that holds my life. May be okay for an alto singer. If a soprano singer is going to sing that, it's always better for the musician to take the key higher by a fourth. So I've just played on C and I go to F. You are the pillar that holds my life. You are the pillar that holds my life. So that sounds brighter for a soprano singer. So it's more than just a semitone or a tone. So as a singer, you need to understand that and how keys works with one another with respect to song and the singer. And another common term which I would like to talk about is the tempo or speed. Sometimes singers just do like this. Sometimes you don't know, is it come over or not? Instead of using your hands to demonstrate, it's always good to understand, to talk about the tempo. So the terms you're going to use about it is increase the tempo or reduce the tempo. For demonstration purpose now, I'm just going to pick up a tempo now, and I'm going to demonstrate increasing and decreasing the tempo. This is a particular tempo. So if it is slow, you say increase the tempo. So we can increase the tempo. And if that is fast for you, you can say decrease the tempo. So we've talked about the key, the tempo. Another common term which I want us to understand is unison. Unison simply means singing the same note on the same pitch. Singing the same song, that means you're singing the melody without singing the harmonization, without singing any of the parts. If everybody sings that with the bass or lower voice, then another common term which I'd like to share with you is duet. Duet means two people singing in harmony. Duet, singing in harmony. And usually you sing in thirds. That's the commonest harmony you can sing that will be okay, rather than singing in fourth or a contemporary, in a contemporary music. So another one we are going to talk about is solo. Solo has to do with when you are singing alone, whether with the band or as an individual. That word solo means alone, one singer. Another one is another common term which is very we use in music is the introduction or intro. That this is a set of musical instruments or musical arrangements that is played before the singers come in. It's usually it comes before the song starts or the singing starts. So sometimes you need to tell the musicians, I'll need that intro into this. And in the intro, the intro section may be opened by the drums on without the drums. And for the singers to come in, the drummers may bring them in, roll the music in to cue the singers when they sing. So we need to understand that. Another set of musical instruments that happens in the song is called interlude. Interlude is a musical instrument or musical arrangement that comes within the song. So you have to be careful not to mix up introduction with interlude or intro with interlude. And sometimes what you play in the intro may be repeated in the song. At that point in time, it changes name from intro to interlude. Sometimes the interlude play may introduce the next section of the song. So you need to understand. But any musical arrangement that is played within a song is called the interlude. And again, we have something that is called instrumental break. Some of this kind of is a form of interlude which showcases the skills of the musicians. It could be the showcasing of the guitarist, of the bass player, or the drummer. So we have what we can use that word instrumental break for instrumentalists to showcase themselves. Then another word which I've had people use but is intended in another way. Sometimes say without music. Sometimes what they are trying to say is just the drums only without the keyboard and the bass guitar or saxophone. So sometimes you say let the music stop playing. Sometimes you only need the drums to keep playing. Sometimes we say ACAPELLA. ACAPELLA means without instrument. You can introduce ACAPELLA within a song, or you sing the song right through from beginning to the end without the musical instrument. And such song or such sections whereby there is no musical instrument playing, you call that section ACAPELLA section or ACAPELLA song if you have to sing without instrument from the beginning. Another one which we need to get familiar with is sound check. Now, every singer, you need to know what to do when there is a call for sound check. Sound check is different from line check. Line check is when you want to make sure that the lines are connected, sound is going through. So as a singer, you get on the microphone, you need to do your sound check. What you need to do at that point is to sing, not just to say hello, 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 hello. You need to sing at that point in time and listen whether you can hear yourself on the monitor. So when an engineer calls and say, oh, it's time for you to do your sound check, that is when you need to sing and hear yourself properly on the stage. Then another thing we need to know about the common musical instruments that we need to know what they are called. I've had people call musical instrument different kinds of them. One of the musical instruments which I would like us to know is the piano. Is the instrument the keyboardist plays. So this is the piano. So sometimes when you're communicating with your musicians, you say, I just want the piano. So you don't say, I just want the keyboard. It's rather loose to say that. It's I want the piano sound. You know. Sometimes you can tell the pianist you want piano and strings. Strings is another instrument. A family of strings of violin, viola, cello is called strings. Mostly on the keyboard we play in church, we have the strings. And most times the keyboardists we use piano and strings together. So you can communicate with your musicians that I need the piano and the strings. Can you hear the combination? Without the strings, it's like this. With the strings, sometimes you may tell your keyboardist, I just want the strings. So in choir practices, in rehearsals, you need to be aware of this as singers. You need to be aware of the musical instrument going around you. So they just say, I just want that going in and all that, you know. So you need to know how to communicate effectively with your musicians that I want the piano. And sometimes it's not just the piano that you want. Sometimes you can tell them you want the organ sound. You can tell them you want the organ sound, you know. Sometimes you may tell them you want the guitar sound in case you don't have a guitarist, you know. This is how a guitar sound. You know, so you need to know how you communicate. Then another musical instrument that is effective in praise and worship, and which is the rhythm section, is the drum set. You need to understand that it is called drum set. I've heard people call it jazz or whatever, but the actual name is the drums, you know. You know, sometimes you need to know the different, you must be able to tell the musicians the areas of the different parts of the instrument that you want. You know, you can tell them, I want kick on the verse, you know. That's the kick. I want snare alone. This is how a snare sound. Then another part of that instrument is the hi-hat. Combination of this makes the drum set dynamic in its use. So you need to be aware of all this. Don't just know that somebody is on something moving around. You need to be able to say, oh, this is, or understand what is going on there. Another major instrument in the band is the bass guitar. And this is how it sounds. These are common things which you need to know as a singer, even though you cannot play them or you may not be able to play them, but you need to be aware of your musical environment. All of this awareness helps you to be able to interact with the musical instrument. Sometimes you're singing and say, oh, and you see that everybody is having fun. You can just tell the drummer, just give me the kick. Just the kick. Or can we have the bass player? You don't go and face a drummer and say, can I have a bass solo? And that's going to be chaotic. So you need to understand the different instruments and be able to interact with them. You know their role. The drums is a rhythm section. The bass guitar gives the root, and the bass guitar and the drums, they work hand in hand. They work hand in hand in creating the rhythm section effectively. The keyboard in the band establishes the key, the home key that you must sing in. And if there's modulation, the keyboard is responsible for making decisions about the modulations and all that. So far, so good. These are the common terms which I would like to share with you, and the common instruments in a band or in music which you need to be aware with. You need to get yourself acquainted with. So I would like you to subscribe to this channel. If this is your first time of coming in, I would like you to subscribe. I would like to read from you your comments, and I'd like you most especially to like and share this video. Thank you so much. Till I come your way another time. Bye.